Your power is in your truth. Your power is in your vulnerability. Someone needs to hear this today. And I'm feeling a lot of like male, like a lot of masculine energy. And so potentially maybe more directed towards the Tane or Tane. Um, but as a collective of Tane, take what resonates. But I'm heavily picking up on the energy of your power being in your truth and your vulnerability is massive when it comes to your personal power. I'm not talking about power and control. I'm talking about your personal power. And I think whoever this is for, life has conditioned you to believe that your vulnerability is a weakness for yourself. To speak up, to speak out, to speak truth is is to be vulnerable, and that is a weakness. There is like this really, and I've been picking up on it all morning, but like there is this massive need to like clear the throat. And so that's telling me that someone needs to speak. Someone needs to speak. Someone needs to start speaking their truth. And they're seriously struggling to do so. There is a fear around it. There's a fear about speaking this truth, coming out with this truth by speaking up, speaking out. There's this anxiety coming through my chest that is quite like all encompassing. That anxiety is quite like all encompassing. And I'm hearing like a fear of the outcome. Almost like fear of rejection or fear of it not going your way, or not necessarily your way, but you're in the way that you hope it will go. But I think the way that you hope it will go, you have a lot of hope in that. Like there's this really big part of you, your intuition, that is telling you that it's going to play out that way, but the fear, the mind, and the conditioned beliefs are somewhat holding you back. But there is like this percentage of you that genuinely believes that whatever the situation is going to play out in the way that you are hoping it would. And you're trying to hold on to that. And then at the same time, those conditioned beliefs are causing that fear and that anxiety. Whatever this is that is coming up at the moment for you, it is, it's calling you forward. It's calling you into alignment. And I think like what I'm seeing is like scales. And at the moment, the conditioned beliefs are like outweighing that hope that you have. But that hope is slowly starting to get heavier. And I'm watching it like quite seriously, like, what are the words? Like that hope is going to outweigh those conditioned beliefs that vulnerability is weakness, that speaking your truth is weakness, or that you shouldn't, or that you should fear speaking your truth. That hope that you have, I see it outweighing the conditioned beliefs. Overthinking a lot of the time can come from a lack of trusting your own intuition. We get really caught up in the mind and the ego. And it's not necessarily that the ego is a bad thing. See, my throat is going in. It's not necessarily that the ego is a bad thing, but it does have its purpose of trying to protect us. And so in certain circumstances or situations, we may pull away from things because our ego tells us it's unsafe, because all of those conditioned beliefs have taught us that those things are unsafe. And so as you are becoming another version of yourself, and you are remembering who you've always been, and you are unbecoming all that life has conditioned you to believe, you will start to realize that more and more. But ultimately, your power, your self power, like your self empowerment, your alignment is in speaking your truth, is in being vulnerable. Whoever this is for, I get the feeling like you've either you've been shut down a lot. So every time you've spoken, people have continuously shut you down. Like you've never genuinely been heard, never genuinely been seen. I'm getting parents, mostly around parents. So maybe parents have continuously shut you down, not allowed you to speak your truth as a child, because I'm seeing it quite young. Like even when children express themselves at young ages, suppressing that, like as parents, suppressing that obviously affects them, because that starts to shut down their system in ways where when they start to grow, they get older, they no longer want to share because they've been shut down from such a young age. And so whoever this is for, it's giving me, has been shut down from a very young age. Almost like you exist but you're not heard. You exist but you're not seen. Fuck. Mm. And so your ability to be vulnerable was also shut down from a very young age as well. Like the ability to express yourself in the ways that you wanted to as a child and have always wanted to, even growing up, has almost had a mask put over it so that it's, I'm hearing like malleable, so that it's like it fits with other people, it fits with the environment, it fits with the people that you're surrounded by, rather than it actually fitting with your truth. Whoever this is for, that mask that you've held up for yourself for so long, that has been your protection, um, it has been your survival, that mask has come away, which is why I think a lot of this is coming through. that mask has come down now, and there is this need to speak truth to someone, to be vulnerable with someone. Could be more than one person. I am heavily and specifically seeing there is like one specific person that this truth and this vulnerability needs to be shared with. And it's almost encapsulating you in a way that's like debilitating. Mm. There is a lot about, there is a lot of like feelings of love coming through. So maybe that's what the expression is. That's what the truth is the expression of love for someone. And there's a fear around being vulnerable about that. This truth that's wanting to be spoken, it's not like bad. It's not like a negative truth. Like it's not like it's positive. Like it's feeling, it's emotion, it's I think this is mostly an expression of love. An expression of love towards someone, and there's a fear around it. Which would make sense, the feeling of rejection, like that fear of rejection, if it's an expression of love. But honestly, if you're called to do it, if you're called to step forward and speak your truth and to be vulnerable and express what it is that you need to express, no matter what way it goes, it will still be right. So even if it doesn't go the way that you're hoping it will go, which honestly I'm heavily leaning towards the fact that it will, but even if it was to go the opposite way, it would still be right in your path. It would still be alignment because you will learn from it. Like there will be more things that you learn from someone saying no, and there will be things that you learn from someone also saying yes. Take that how it resonates. So either way, regardless of what the outcome is, the main purpose of that feeling or that calling is that you're being asked to step into your truth because your power is in your truth. You're being asked to be vulnerable because your power is in your vulnerability. And whatever it is about, I'm getting like heavily that it is going to go the way that you are hoping that it will go. But the perspective is that even if it wasn't to go the way that it went, it would still be the right thing to do because you still would have spoken your truth. It would still be the right thing to do because it will still be you listening to your intuition and following that calling. It would still be the right thing to do because you will still learn whatever it is you needed to learn from it, and you will be able to move through it differently this time. I'm seeing like a yes or no question kind of scenario. Like you remember like in school, like or like in movies where you see them like write little like notes in class. That's what I'm seeing right now. Is like you see them like write little notes in class and they pass it around and it's got like a yes or no check box, like do you want to go out? And it's like got a little yes or no check box. That's what I'm seeing right now. Definitely an expression of love, trying to come forward. Whatever this scenario is, whatever the situation is, and whoever this is for, that would be the main part of this message, is that your power is in your truth and your power is in your vulnerability. And regardless of whether or not they tick yes or they tick no, it will still be the right thing to do. The thing is, though, is that I feel like whoever you are, you've done a lot of healing. Like you've done a lot of healing. So even if this person wants to say no to you, you would be able to process it differently because you've done so much work on yourself. But I quite honestly don't think that it is leaning that way. But I think they're asking me to see that so that it dissipates out that fear a little bit more. Because essentially, what it's kind of trying to say is that even though it doesn't look right, it's still right, it's still alignment. Even if you don't get the outcome you want, then and there will be better for you. There will be more for you. There will be something else for you. So it's asking you to look at the positives where you're seeing the negative. A lot of like self-esteem, confidence, and courage is coming up, like building the courage, building the confidence, building that self-esteem to actually step forward into speaking this truth, into being vulnerable in this way. That's massive. Whoever this is, like, that's massive. Like, those are massive shifts. They're not small shifts. And that's powerful for your own spirit. I'm kind of getting the feeling though that like whoever this is, like this things like this don't usually happen for you. Like people don't use woman. I'm assuming this is why I must be picking up on masculine energy. It's like a masculine to a feminine. And I'm getting for the masculine that the masculine doesn't usually get this nervous, or things don't usually take this masculine out in the way that this particular feminine does. Like to this masculine, this feminine is just completely out of the ordinary for him. And in most cases, never feels like this in scenarios like this, not this intensely. Like maybe a little bit of nerves, but like not at this capacity. Like this capacity is giving me like the intensity of it is is quite extreme for the masculine that I'm talking to. There's something different about this particular feminine, and it is that's why it's taking the confidence, like you're trying to build the confidence, the self-esteem and the courage to do it. And honestly, I think that that courage, that self-esteem and that confidence that you're trying to build in yourself right now is what is going to um, add to that weight of that hope that you have, that's going to end up outweighing those conditioned beliefs. So keep building on that. Keep building on your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your courage. I quite honestly think though, whoever this is for, it's going to go the way that you want it to go. Even though you can't see that right now, that's what I'm seeing. Like, I'm not leaning to, I'm not feeling in the intensity of it not going your way. But I also do feel like this energy that I'm feeling right now has been building for a while. Like, it's not like last night or this morning you just woke up and you've all of a sudden felt it. I feel like it's slow, like the build of this, the build to speak your truth, the build to be vulnerable has been building slowly over a time period. You said 6 months. So maybe about 6 months. In the last 6 months, it's been like building for you. And so in this time, not only have you been doing your own work on yourself, but also been building that courage, that bravery, that confidence, that self-esteem up. And I think that that's why at the moment, with the conditioned beliefs and the hope that you have that the outcome is going to be positive, is I can see it. It's like sitting like this, but it's like slowly, that hope is slowly just outweighing it. Mm. Whoever this masculine is, though, a lot of depth to you. There was a lot of depth to you, a lot of emotional depth to you, and a lot of intensity to you. But it's like, it's beautiful. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, there's this beautiful intensity to your energy. There's this beautiful, like, love to you. And I think you know that deep down. But I think also a part of you may feel like it's too much for people, or maybe it's always been too much for people. Like, who you are, the love you give, the way you move, your energy, your just a lot about you. I think people have always made you feel like you're too much. And so that's where the fear is also coming from as well, those conditioned beliefs. But the energy, your energy is really, really beautiful. Like, it's really powerful. Like, the love you have to give, like the heart that you have is so intense, but it's not a bad intensity. I mean, maybe that's just because I have the capacity to understand that energy, but it's not a bad intensity. Honestly, whoever it was that made you feel like you were too much, or you were too intense, or your love was too much, or too giving, or over giving, honestly, fuck them. It just tells me that whoever it was that you gave your love to, they needed that love at that time, whether they understand that or not. But also on top of that, they just, it had nothing to do with you. It wasn't that you were too much or that you gave too much love. I don't even believe in that. I don't think you could possibly ever give too much love. I quite frankly don't think there's enough of it. But it's not that you ever gave too much or that you were too much. It's that whoever it was that you were giving yourself to did not have the capacity to hold you in your intensity, in your love, in the power that you have, in the love that you have. Mm, fuck. coming through pretty strong. I think the biggest thing is that your heart is going to feel more at ease when you step forward and you fulfill speaking your truth and you fulfill being vulnerable. Because it's like anything, right? It's like when you learn how to do anything for the first time, but then when you do it, it gives you that confidence and that courage to be like, fuck, I just did that. I just did that. And so then it boosts that confidence, it boosts that courage, and it makes you feel like you have the ability to fulfill other things or harder opportunities. And that's how it will slowly build and build and build and build, is when you do those hard things and you fulfill them, and then you step back, the outcome was perfectly fine. There was no need for the fear, there was no need for the anxiety or anything like that. And that builds on that confidence and that courage and that self-esteem, and encourages you to do more and fulfill more and listen to yourself more when you feel guided to. But in that also, when you're developing in that way, even if you aren't to have the outcome that you are hoping to have, you would have already done so much work that you will be able to process those so-called downfalls easier, better, faster, because you've done so much work on yourself. I don't know who this is for, but whoever this is for, this is really beautiful. And I really hope that you step forward and speak your truth. And I really hope that you allow yourself to be vulnerable with whoever this is. Yeah. Move with chaos in the peace of this. Move with peace in the chaos of this life. Be so kind to yourself. Always be so kind. And as always, much love.